Welcome everyone to episode 70 of What's That Sound podcast. My name's Stu Watts and today I talked with Craig Kemp, who's a producer and mixer from Melbourne, Australia. In this episode, we talked about how he has seamlessly transitioned from guitar teacher into producer and mentor, why the first session with any artist should be more about listening than producing, and why understanding an artist's vision is more important than imposing your own. For all that and heaps more, stay tuned. If you would like to support the podcast, you can do so by sharing it around on your socials, in a conversation, anywhere that might help spread the word about the podcast. We want to get the word out about it and share all the great stories of my awesome guests. You can follow or subscribe on all of the platforms to stay up to date with anything new in the world of What's That Sound. You can support us by buying merch. We have t-shirts for sale on our web store, and the link for that is in the show notes, as well as links to my stuff, to Craig's stuff, and our email address. If you would like to get in contact with us, you can do so. Just jump into the show notes and it'll all be there for you. With all of that aside, let's get into it. This is my conversation with Craig Kemp. You're listening to What's That Sound with your host, Stu Watts. Welcome, everyone. I am here with Craig Kemp. Craig, thank you for joining me today.
Hey, mate. How's it going?
Good, thanks. And yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. Just finished up a session, which was cool, and then straight into this.
Awesome. Love it, man. Well, yeah, thanks for joining me. I would love for you to give a quick rundown of who you are and what you do in the music industry.
Okay, so I'm Craig. Just said that. So I started as like just a musician, just a guitarist. So I was playing lots of original gigs. That slowly turns into all guitarists they end up teaching. And then from there, wedding gigs. And then from there, I moved into production because that's what the passion was. Mm-hmm. I just like making songs and like making sounds.
Yeah, wicked.
So, yeah, general rundown. A bit of a jack of all trades, but I landed on audio and sound and songs.
Yeah, sick. Love to hear it, man. Well, take us back to when you were young. What did that look like? What music was going around your house? What were you into? All of that sort of thing.
So basically when I was young, every night was whatever record my dad's playing. His record collection is just like absolutely phenomenal. I've got it. I've put it all, well, my mum's put it all in an Excel spreadsheet for us.
Yeah, nice.
It's just awesome. So, but it was a lot of the Rolling Stones and a lot of the Who. So I'd always ask for Boris the Spider by The Who. That's an absolute classic.
Yeah.
Nice. Not one of their better tracks, but you know, you're a kid, it's a song about a spider.
That's it.
But yeah, so just like bluesy heavy rock in the household, and then just learning guitar every now and then, being absolutely rubbish for a while until you find out how to practice and you learn that, and all of a sudden you start making cool things.
Yeah, nice. And so do you remember like when your dad had music on around the house, like were you listening to it analytically, or was it literally like, do you remember any like nerdy sort of stuff, or were you just purely enjoying the music?
It's weird. At that age, I was purely just like listening as background completely. Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't until I got into year 7, so like hit 13, and I realized like, you can be kind of cool if you play the guitar better. And so it took me a little while to actually like love it. Like, and I know that's not often what you hear from people who end up in a music career. They normally like, from day one, obsessed. Yeah. No, it was a background thing. My favorite CD was Bob the Builder. And then
nice, yeah.
But like, yeah, and then all of a sudden it just all came flooding in after that.
Yeah, that's cool. What kind of changed it for you?
Literally realizing that it was like cool to be able to create.
Yeah. Right.
Like getting enough, I wouldn't even call it understanding, but getting enough skill that you can kind of make something sound reasonable.
Yeah, cool. And then from there, did you said you started playing guitar. Is that kind of, how long did that last? And then, did you get any formal education and that sort of thing?
Yeah, so guitar absolutely obsessed all through high school and year 11 and 12. And then I moved to Melbourne as I was 18 to study music. So I've done the Bachelor of Music, and that turned into all of this.
Yeah, sick. That's awesome, man. And you know, when you're that when you're in your teenage years and you're playing guitar and stuff, like I was the same. I grew up playing drums from when I was 10, and then I picked up guitar probably about 12 or 13. But it's all just like when you're a kid and you have no responsibilities and you just love it, like it's all guns blazing. Was it the same for you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like 100%. It was like, I remember choosing who would come to my birthday party depending on who could have a good jam. Like, it was literally just like, oh, these guys play instruments. Do I know them? Nah, but invite them.
That's
like,
sick.
I remember doing that. That was cool.
They would have appreciated that.
Yeah, 100%. It was good.
Yeah, nice. And then did you then go into so you went to formal education when you were 18. Tell us a bit more about that. What it looked like, obviously moving to a different area as well. Yeah, so, you know, paint us a picture.
I'd literally never been to Melbourne before. I'm from Canberra originally, I should mention that.
There you go, yep.
And so it was like halfway through year 12, there was a bunch of us, we were at a house party and we were all like, oh, maybe we should just move to Melbourne and study there. And I was like, awesome. I don't think I want to study. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, I could study music. Ah, cool. So kind of went there. I never thought I'd go down the studying route. I just thought I was going to become like, I don't even know. I didn't really have a plan in year 12. Unfortunately, it just turned into music because that's all I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we all moved down. We all moved into like student accommodation, which was a pretty fun year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then into share houses after that, and yeah.
Yeah, cool. And what do you remember from like being at uni and stuff? Like what things do you still like remember from that? And what things did you learn that you still use to this day?
Oh, there's a lot. I use a lot of it was like motivation and like being held accountable. So like the place I went to, you would have to have things learnt or ready to go by the time you got there. And so you're not wasting time in a rehearsal room. You need to know your part so you can just turn up and play it straight away. And everyone that it's a music course. A lot of people flunk out within about a term, if not 2 terms. So within about 2 terms worth, you'll notice that you turn up to the rehearsal room and everyone knows the song. And it's like, that's one big thing. You're held accountable for doing what you say you'll practice.
I love it. That's so important. Like, I think it's underrated. It's like, I mean, I never did formal music study, like music theory or music performance or anything like that. Mine was in like audio technical production. So we always saw the other musos and like, it was like, man, they're always playing music. They're always talking music. They're always around. And it just kind of like, I think that's a good thing because when I grew up playing in bands, it's not the same. You just rock up and you play because you love it and you have fun and that sort of thing. There's no expectation really. So you have to learn that. You have to teach yourself that, or you have to hear it from one of your mates or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, nice. And so when did you start like dabbling with the production stuff?
So that basically, sorry, just, there we go. Basically, I was playing in a band. We were playing like maybe twice a week in Melbourne, and that band slowly kind of like dissipated. We just like stopped playing all of a sudden. So I was taken out of live gigging all the time. And me and another member of that band were like, okay, well, if 2 of us are going to do something, let's just learn how to do electronic music. And so I dived into the world of electronic music. I think we heard... Do you remember when Beyonce released, I think it was Lemonade, that album?
Lemonade, yeah.
And it was like all of a sudden she just like dropped the whole album. And I hadn't really heard of that without any promo. And me and my mate were like, oh, but if we dropped an album overnight, everyone will listen to it. It's not the case. It didn't happen. But we used that as motivation and we recorded, an EP, 3 singles and an album to release all at once.
Holy shit, that's sick.
And yeah, it was awesome. Really good time. But the production wasn't great, but it's how I started to get into it and learn that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think like you have to start somewhere. I mean, I can guarantee 99% of people's early stuff sounds like shit.
Oh, man, listening back to your first beats is so fun. It's so fun. There's actually some really good ideas there. They're really creative because you don't know what you're doing, but like, oh.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I mean, you dabble with everything too. Like you go, like I was trying to do like techno stuff. I was trying to do like R&B. I was trying to do hip hop alongside like my love for punk music. It was always punk, but like, yeah, man, I agree. You listen to some of that stuff and you're like, that's a bit how you going.
This is a don't do this, but I got obsessed with one snare and I was like, this snare is the snare that's the best snare. And I used it on everything. Didn't matter what key the song was in, didn't matter what the song needed. It was just like, nah, put that snare on it.
That's so funny. Yeah, I love it. And that's such a fun time. I think you like these days, like I think sometimes I wish for that stuff as well. Like you don't have the innocent, naive like creativity because you have that awareness of how everything works together a bit more. I somewhat miss it sometimes. I'm kind of like, I wish I could just like pick up a guitar and hit the wrong note, not knowing kind of like that it won't work sort of thing, but thinking that it does.
Yeah, but well, then you kind of fit it to work. I find a lot of the time more creative songs are written if you don't know all the theory.
It's great point. Yeah. And so, did you have any like mentors or anyone that was teaching you anything, or how did you go about learning it yourself?
So, well, because it was through, if I jump back to my music education, we did like, there was a element of production courses in there. So there was like one term of Ableton, a few terms of Pro Tools, a few terms of film scoring and things like that.
Yep.
So I'd already dabbled in DAWs and had figured out how they work. And then as we moved into the electronic world, we're like, if we're going to play live, we have to learn Ableton properly. Because that was just the door of choice for actually looping and making things. And so now I still do most of my work in Ableton. But back to your question, sorry, I've sidebarred there.
Go for it, man. That's what it's all about.
Mentor-wise, not really. Literally YouTube. There is just so much info out there, which I now see a lot of it's not good. But when you're learning, you can take a lot if you watch enough.
Yeah. It's an interesting one because, like, I mean, I even mentioned it on the last podcast. It's like you don't know what you don't know, so you kind of just take everything on board. But I think the most important part of that is the application and the practice. You cannot learn without actually trying it and practicing it and seeing what works for you, because everyone's different. But obviously, some of the info is junk. But
of course.
Everyone will use it differently. Everyone that receives that piece of information won't do the exact same thing.
Yeah, there's also like 100 ways to get something to stick out in a mix, right? And like if you learn all of the ways, you'll know which one to use when. And so I think I just binged so much YouTube. So I had all these different kind of differing opinions. They were kind of working against each other at times as well, but like experimentation.
Yeah. It's huge. And it's fun too, like learning about like plugins and systems and signal flow and all that sort of stuff. It's like a new language, and yeah, there's something so exciting, and like the endorphin rush, like when you know you're going to go back and sit on the computer again. It's like there's something about that, and hopefully you have that for a long time.
Yeah, the plugin thing's dangerous as well. You just see someone use something, you go, I need it. It's going to fix my mix. It's going to fix the mix. It's not.
Yeah, absolutely. So these days, where do you find your time? Where do you find your time is spent? And then let's talk about the process of how you kind of got to where you are.
Yeah, okay. So I'll go like way too far back because it might help. So
I might have skipped ahead too much.
No. Like I just think it helps if this is about like giving people like an actual outline of what worked for me. Like I stayed in a job that had nothing to do with audio for way too long, and it was only after that job ceased to exist that I moved into the music world properly. So I was really stagnant in something, and then from there, that leaving, I had to figure out how to make money in the industry, which is when I led to teaching. I basically went into I want to call it full-time guitar teaching, but full-time guitar teaching is like between the hours of 4 and 8 p.m. because of, unless you're doing it at a school, of course.
Yeah, that's right.
But this is like private teaching, which is what I was doing. And then from there to get to producing for other people, I've taught for what, maybe 10 to 12 years. So my students who started when they were 8 became 20, became songwriters, and I started producing their stuff.
Amazing.
And recording them.
That's so sick.
Yeah. So a lot of the people, like my last client who I was just with before this, I was teaching her when she was in high school, and now she's up to releasing her 5th track. And yeah,
that's unreal. I've never heard that. I'm just going to say that. That's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah. So that's how I got into the production part. Like I obviously did it for myself first, but I was like, I can help my students actually do what they want to do musically. I also find a lot of my guitar teaching always like falls around songwriting and what people want to do. Like a lot of people want to create, and they just want to make stuff. So I'm always trying to just get people to make things.
That's great. Yeah, it's so important. Like my drum teacher was always the same as well. Every session he'd be like, bring something that you want to learn, and then you got to show me how you would kind of do it yourself. Yeah. And I love that approach. It just forces you to be creative, which is like at the end of the day, like it depends what you want, but really we want to try and encourage people to be creative with an instrument.
Yeah. It's like problem solving. Like a third of my like guitar lesson would be, okay, some theory and some reading. The other 2/3 is just like, what do you want to learn? Because that's how I learned guitar. It was just like, have you heard the latest Chili Peppers back from when I was growing up? Let's learn that. Yeah, cool. And then if they tend to seem like they want to go into songwriting or playing in bands, so I start moving into Ableton and
Great. That's awesome. I love that. So then, I guess moving through to today, how did you, once you kind of have landed all that sort of stuff, how did you start to solidify it, and what does your kind of percentage of what you work on, production, mixing, that sort of thing, like what does that look like as well?
It's a tricky one. So I'm still teaching a lot. I produce a lot, and a lot of the production. No, let me start this again. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm still teaching a lot, and I produce a lot. I may be producing 2 days a week for the full day, and then the other 3 days are half days because of my guitar teaching.
Yep.
To get there, it was a lot of actually my students' productions that I was working on. That's actually turned into more because of, obviously they go out into the world, people hear what you're putting out, and it comes from there. And I do a lot. I've just recently started doing a lot of artist development as well.
Great.
So I'm trying to get artists in to like not even record, but just help them set their goals for the next however long it is. Maybe they've got a goal for a year or 4 weeks or 2 years. And that's kind of my week is just very eclectic depending on what's booked in. But
it's very cool. It's very cool. I love the flexible approach to it, because you don't know what people need, and like I think it's pretty cool that you're able to do that. Like, I'm assuming that you would call yourself a guitar teacher, but allowing people to guide you to where they actually want to learn things is really cool. And I haven't really heard that much.
Yeah. I'd say, like, I do call myself guitar teacher, but less and less these days. Like it was probably like 60-40, and now it's probably at 50-50.
Yeah. What I meant by that was more like when you're telling people that you can teach them guitar.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Cool, man. And so, let's go through your process. What does it look like when you first start working with a new client? Let's start there.
Okay. My big thing is connection and making sure a client, basically they've got a vision. They've written a song and they expect to hear the song how they hear it in their head. And a lot of the time it can be really hard to to speak in a language if you haven't spoken in that language before. If it's your first time working with a producer, you might know you want the song to sound like this other song, but you might not have the language that can actually adopt that. So when I work with someone, we spend at least the first 2 hours, and this is separate to any production session. I just get them to come around and we play the song on an acoustic guitar or a piano and vocals. A big thing for me is music should make you feel something. And it's working sometimes a certain chord can make a certain melody note sound a certain way. Depending on what the lyric is, that could completely change. So we completely strip apart the song and we figure out how you want that song to make someone feel. So that would be my most basic approach. First session is very casual and we're just getting to know each other and see if we actually connect and see if we can figure out how that song should make you feel.
I love that. That's fantastic. I think it's obviously a version of pre-production, but it's kind of more a get to know you style of pre-production, which I think is super important as well. And, people all over this podcast have said how important it is to sit down and just get to know people. So I love that. I agree 100%. And so, does most of your work involve co-writing, producing for the artist? Is that most of your work, would you say?
Most of my work would be, the co-write. I don't like to label it co-write a lot of the time. I might be a different opinion to some people. I find if the artist has the song and the chords and the melody, they've already written the song. If I change one lyric, I don't actually think I've done that much. I just more want to help them get their idea across.
Great.
So you could consider it a co-write, but I would prefer to see a co-write as we sat down together and we started writing this song together, or
absolutely, yeah.
I wrote a whole second verse. There's a lot of the ownership of a song is a big thing, especially for these smaller artists going into produce with someone for the first time. And it can be really scary. So I don't want people to think that, you come work with me and it's half mine. You had the idea, you had a sweet idea, and we just made it, we changed a few chords and it just brought it a little bit more to life.
Yep.
So that's kind of my outlook on it, I guess. But a lot of it is just finding sounds and finding the sound palette that will work for you. You might have written a song and not realize it's actually suited to be country, or there's different ways they can go. That's why we strip it all the way back to chord melody, lyric.
Yep. I love that. So cool. And when you're kind of, getting creative with them, when you're listening and analyzing and feeling the music, do you ever notice that it's most of the time that it's easy, or is there struggles a lot of the time, and how do you get around those struggles?
I would say most of the time it's easy, because I'll offer up a lot of suggestions chord-wise. So we play it through a few times and then I will just go wild on chord changes. And if they like it, great. If they don't, it's their song as well. I'm not someone who's I studied music, that should be a D minor. No, they wrote this cool song and that's the feeling they want. So I kind of, I don't want to say pander to the artist, but I want to make sure that they're realizing the song that they've written. And it's not my interpretation of it, it's their interpretation of it. I'm just there to help.
Yeah, and guide the way and put the fingers on the keys and stuff like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, man. And so what then do you feel what are the things that you find potentially not difficult, but what do you find that are challenges in a session, in any generic session, that would you say? What are the kind of parts where you're we've got to push through this and find a way to make this work, sort of thing?
Sometimes it can come up to education of the process. I remember recording my first stuff and not knowing what was happening, not knowing why we were sitting there for a few minutes while the producer worked something out. So when I'm working with someone, I'll often try to explain things as I go, but not so much that it feels like I'm just attacking them with information. Yeah. So sometimes that would be one thing. Another thing would be kind of because I do this every day, you would be the same. Sometimes you can kind of hear an idea and know it's not maybe the right idea. but you have to let them explore it. So it's like, that's on me to be patient, to let them explore it. I can guide, but that's my job to kind of be patient. Let's follow the idea. And like, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it does. I've definitely been wrong in a session. I'm sure you have as well.
Yeah.
It's
I love those moments though. I love being proven wrong. It's
and then you learn something, right?
Yep.
You're just like,
you're like, holy shit, never would have thought of doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I think it's on the producer or the engineer just to be patient to let that happen. Of course, you're working to a time limit as well and trying to get them to finish their song within budget. So it's a big balancing act, and it's really, really hard to do.
Yeah. And I think the other thing on that is like, I love collaboration. So I just think it's magical when you're working with people and maybe they are on the wrong track, but then you get to a point where you're both bouncing ideas and then something just sprouts out of nowhere, and that's the magic of the song. And that's one of the coolest things. I think that happens far too
100%.
rarely.
Well, the rule is you can't say no. You have to say yes or. Like, you can't just say no, because that literally stops creativity. If you say or, you've at least added a suggestion, or you say yes until you've got something either better. They're allowed to say no, but as a producer, I would never be like no.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It's just like yes or, and that's that gentle guiding.
Yeah. And I feel like, having history with a lot of your artists that you're working with is probably a massive benefit to that as well, because, you would have been teaching them a long time. They would probably, you know each other somewhat. So it's, working for the first time with someone is completely different to that, having years of like knowing them.
Yeah. I even find, so now it's as well as my teaching clients, it's like, people who I used to do gigs with when I was doing the original scene, and they're still writing music. I'll have sessions with them and we've just known each other for years, or it's a friend of theirs. So I know there's a loose connection there because as you know, we often get just work from word of mouth.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I worked with Stu. He was great. Go to him.
It's the best. That's the best way to get work.
Yeah, exactly. So like, it'll often be that. So there's like already inbuilt trust.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love it. And tell us about, listening through some of your tracks. They're all so vibey, and even seeing your stuff on socials that you post. Like, I feel like I could just describe your production style as vibey.
Oh, sick. I like it.
Yeah, there's always just like, wavy stuff going on, or like, the vocal effects that kind of surround you with the music. It's really cool, man.
Yeah. So like, I've actually even just missed the question there. So
there's no real question. There's no real question. I just wanted to point it out and kind of get your thoughts off it. Yeah. And like how you approach that. Like, is that intentional?
Yes. So I used to do a lot of short film scoring and music for TV ads. So just like I lived in that like soundscapey world. And so I like it when you can, I know these are short Instagram reels or just one song, but I like when you can put your headphones on and it's not just a song that plays, but it's a full kind of world and soundscape. So I try to build a lot of the soundscape from the elements that are already there. So for example, for a band the other day, we're doing like a folky thing. I've just asked them if they could just literally just record some vocals on their phone just to send them to me. So if I need a sound, I've got something that's natural to the act and I'm not like scrolling presets on Serum or
I love it.
Anything
cool
like that. Yeah, it's just building something that's actually organic.
Yeah. And so that must be something that when you're producing or something like that, it's probably quite intentional when you're, when someone's playing a part or, singing a melody or something like that. I'm guessing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing in your brain, you're kind of going, okay, what can I do with this? How can I approach this to bring it to life, sort of thing?
100%. Or like, I know I'm like, I'm going to copy that later and take it to another track and just see if we can build a bed out of it.
Yeah, that's cool. Tell us a bit more about the sync stuff.
The sync stuff. So I was doing a lot of that. I really wanted to be a film scorer. After going to uni for music, like that was like, that'd be sick. That'd be so good. Imagine that. So I got really obsessed with it. I wrote two orchestral albums with a friend of mine and then one on my own. And I was like, oh, I'm loving all this stuff. This is great. And so you're putting out like emails to so many people to try to get any work. And I was doing a lot of things like for short films from like some of the Melbourne unis. I'm absolutely escaping their names now.
Yeah.
And then that slowly turned into a little bit of paying work. I did a couple of ads for like Are You OK and for Air New Zealand.
Awesome.
Yeah, had a track in like some Stan TV shows as well.
Yeah,
sick. So just small stuff like that. Over COVID though, that really declined.
Yeah, true.
Because people, they weren't making as much, and I just haven't gotten back into that yet. I would absolutely love to. So anyone listening, because my main thing is I love writing. Which is why I love the production side of working with an artist.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so just lots of small little things like that. Nothing huge. I wish I could say, oh, you know the Telstra ad? That was no, it's not me.
I mean, Sean Stan's nothing to sniff at. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, it was one small little part. So, but yeah, still really cool.
No, of course, man. Of course. And like, so, you know, going back to your production style and, you know, things that you look for, what are the things that you really try and look for when someone's, you know, playing you a demo or something like that? Like, what do you try and capture?
This will sound a little bit wanky, but I really like honesty in a song. I really like, so there's a couple of sorts of lyrics that we often see, and they can be like really honest and raw and very literal. I love that, but you need to, well, you don't need to, but I love that when it's contrasted with metaphors. So I love, like, it can be a beautifully written song, but then all of a sudden out of nowhere, like this line that's just so real and raw hits you. And I love that combination of lyric writing because I know that I can do something with that with chords.
Very cool. Very cool. What would you say that your favorite genres or favorite things to work on in a mix?
Favorite genres is like, it would be like when electronic instruments meet organic instruments. I love, so for example, my favorite band's Radiohead. I love that combination of electronic and real. Favorite artists would be Sampha and Bon Iver. Or Bon Iver. I can never say it.
Bon Iver.
Can never say it. But yeah, I love how they just
it's
mixing
a stupid
those.
name anyway.
No, I love how they mix. Like, it's just like this beautiful acoustic guitar, but all of a sudden it's auto-tuned vocals and they sound beautiful, right?
That's wild.
It's incredible. So I love that. And then because of that, that's maybe my favorite thing to do in a mix as well. It's like creating sounds. And that goes back to what you said about the vibiness. I just love making that sound palette to fit what the artist is trying to make their world. Because when you put the headphones on, you're in their world for at least, maybe 1 minute these days, but 3 minutes.
Yeah, true. Yeah, absolutely. And did you start mixing at the same time that you started doing production stuff, or did that come a little bit later?
It came a little bit later. Mixing it's such a crazy thing because it's like, I wish I got better at it quicker, but I don't know if you've noticed this, but you get better at mixing and then you learn something and you get a bit worse and then you get better.
Kruger.
Yeah. So mixing is this like forever thing that I'm trying to learn, even though I love mixing. It's so fun.
I agree. I don't think it's something that you can ever fully master. There's probably like 5 or 10 mixers in the world that have mastered it, but even they would potentially say that they haven't. So
I said to a client today, we just finished up their mix demo and they were like, oh, I'm going to send it to a few friends. And I was like, oh, awesome. Just make sure when you send it, don't ask them what's wrong with it. Because you could send the best mixed song in the world and send it to someone and say, oh, what's wrong with this? And everyone would be like, oh, the guitars are too loud. But maybe it's the best mixed song in the world.
So true. Love that. I've never even thought of that. Like, I think definitely how you tell someone to do something will influence, the There's a book called Persuasion that I've been listening to, and it's all about that. It's like the introduction of the conversation will then influence the conversation. So that's a great point.
Well, like I think were you and I talking about Parachutes by Coldplay the other day? About it was briefly about how it's just beautifully mixed. If you sent that album to somebody and were like, "Oh, what's wrong with the mix?" Everyone would come up with something, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like everyone would come up with what's wrong with it.
And so, like everyone's opinion is wrong and everyone's opinion is right. So, like, you can't win.
Yeah, it's art. It's up to the whoever's listening.
Yeah, and so talk through your mixing approach, how that's changed over the years. Like, what things did you used to do that maybe you don't do anymore, and vice versa?
This is going to be a repeat from a couple of episodes ago on your podcast that I was listening to. Basically, like, so I mix mostly in Ableton at the moment because that's where I do all my production. It's only when I'm recording at another studio where I'll actually take it to Pro Tools because it's a bit more versatile there. But if I've produced everything in there, I'm already in there. But the things that I used to do would just be like layering on effects after effects after effects, getting something wrong and not correcting it and just being like, oh, I'll just fix it on the next plugin. So there was lots of that, some very bad gain staging with that. Yep.
We've all been there.
Yeah, like 3 EQs followed by a compressor followed by 3 EQs and another compressor or something.
Yeah. Look, I still do it. I don't like, I think, there's no real answer, but like, obviously the more efficient you can be, the better. But there's times when you just got to do that. And different EQs will bring out different things and different compressors will bring out different things. I think, look, there's no right way. I think that's the final thing on that, really, isn't it? Like,
like it can sound. I never want to say bad because of maybe that bad is somebody's great. So because it's always interpretation, but like you're never trying to get. For my mixes, I never want anything like really harsh unless the idea of that part is being harsh. Like I like making things nice and obviously warm. We all love that word, don't we? But yeah, I just find like less processing these days. Maybe the more I mix, I'll use less processing. I record it properly first. And that's something in the past, even 6 months, I've picked up on quite a bit.
Yeah, I think, to relate to that, one thing that I mean, it's not recent, but for me, it's recent, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. It was really just trying to focus on doing broad stroke EQ as opposed to corrective stuff because you still have to correct things, but I think leaving some of that stuff intact can benefit the vibe of the song. And broad stroke EQ, it just kind of gives it a bit more punch and flavor, I think. In general, obviously there's no one way to answer thing, and anyone says that you always do it this way is wrong. But that was a thing that I started to focus on probably 3 or 4 years ago and still do. Yeah.
If I look back to my first ever orchestral album I wrote, people in that world will know violins have a million overtones. And so there's lots of little peaks. Me being young and naive decided to pull down every little peak on every single note because I thought that's what you did. I thought the harsh frequencies are the ones you get rid of. But no, that's what makes it sound like a violin.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, man, cool. And so what does your mix process look like these days? You said you either take it from Ableton into Pro Tools or you're mixing in Ableton. Like, talk us through how you go about getting a good mix down.
Often start with one element, so it'll either be kick or vocals for me, depending on the track. I don't subscribe really to that. Like, you'll hear people say the kick's got to be at -6 dB, and then you build around that. I kind of just get the kick at a good level with the vocal with enough headroom. And then I'll often bring in one element at a time. And before I boost anything, I'm making sure I'm cutting away mud. Again, I'm trying not to cut away too much from anything. I used to have all these really strict rules where on a guitar, you'd cut below a certain frequency and make sure it's all gone. I have done less of that. I'm trying to make it a bit more natural with the recording sense lately. Then I'm mixing into compression as well. So I've got different buses. So everything's going into compression. Just trying to get one chorus to sound as good as I can and then build the automation from there.
Yeah. Awesome.
But that should be pre-fronted with that's me trying to explain a 5-hour mix in 3 seconds.
Totally. And then when this is a question that everyone answers the same way, but I still want to hear your way of answering. How do you know when a mix is done?
You don't. You just don't. It's never done. I have a rule. It used to be the 90% rule. It's now the 80% rule. It's probably going to move to the 75% rule. But once it's 60% done, it's done. No, I'm joking. Like, you can get so caught up in the weeds. You can get so caught up in the weeds. So for me, it has moved to like 85, 80% because of I know that I'm not a perfectionist, but I've got the time. My studio is in my house. So I need to separate it and I need things to be finished at that level.
Yeah.
But I know my 80% will be somebody else's 90 or it'll be somebody else's 100 or somebody else's 50.
And I think on that, like one thing is that generally speaking, and I've said this on podcasts before, but you're generally going to get mixed feedback no matter what. Even if you think that you've gotten it to 100% and there's no possible chance that anything could be off, you'll still get feedback, and that will influence every other move in the song. So it's like getting it to that point where you can send it off, quicker. The client's happy because you've been more efficient. You're moving forward faster with your work. You get into the revision quicker. All of those things are just, to me, benefits. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, I will never send something off if I'm unhappy with it, but there will be a point where it's like, yep, this is enough. This is great. This is perfect. Like, this is just enough. If I do any more, I'll do my head in, like you said.
Well, it's got a vibe. As soon as it's vibing, and often, I don't know if you notice this, but like sometimes it can vibe after the demo stage.
Yeah.
And like when you mix it, it takes something away. Have you ever, like, I've definitely had clients where we've done the demo, we've done all the pre-production, and then we've done the main song. Yeah. And there's something in the demo that we need to bring into the actual mix. So it's like trying to keep that spark alive as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that awareness is important as well. When you're in a production, it's hard not to want to fix everything.
Yes.
But there's points that you have to address to say, we don't need to do this anymore. We just don't need to. And it's hard. It's a hard conversation because even with yourself, but with the client, they like, well, they're probably not thinking this, like, what am I hiring you for? But there's an element of that.
Yeah. It's like also because when all the things I mix, I'm mainly producing as well. It's a bit of hat swapping. And once the mix hat's on, I try to keep the mix hat on. It's like the producer hat's gone and now we're in mix mode. So parts are done. Not to say I haven't gone back and changed things. I always do. But I really try to separate that just that little bit.
Yeah, so important. I love it. And then what are some of your go-to, maybe not techniques, but maybe more so just tools? Like, what are some of your go-to things that you don't think that you could do without, firstly, in a production, and then secondly, in a mix?
In a production? Oh, that's a really good question. Sorry, I'm just going to have a quick think about this. My go-to tools, it's so dependent on the mix and the client. I think a big one for me, it's not even in the computer, but a go-to tool would be arrangement. Because often you can just fill out a track when you're tracking. You're just like, that idea is good, put it in. That idea is good, put it in. That idea is great, put that one in. But if we're getting outside of the computer, which is normally where I like to live in production world, maybe having 3 bass lines is too many. Do you know what I mean? It's like the arrangement, making sure the parts actually help each other, like making sure you've got layers to it, making sure that everything actually works together before you jump into that mix mode.
Yeah. I mean, a well-defined arrangement is huge.
I know that's not a tool. That's not something people can go and download, but it's definitely
True.
It's definitely something that you can think of as a tool. Like, think, have I arranged this properly so I can mix it easily? Because mixes, they shouldn't be hard. The song should actually fit together before you even start.
It's a great point. I love it. And then moving into any other tools in the production world that you feel like you would kind of generally always use? Just
always use. Nothing that I would always like. There's the classic like compressors that you always go to. There's just things like that you'll use. But from a production point of view, I'm even just having a look over here at my plugins at the moment, and I'm looking at them and I'm like, I wouldn't put that on everything. No.
Yeah.
So
no, that's sweet. That's a good answer.
There's nothing that I would have in every production because they're all different.
Yep. Awesome. And then mixing? Yeah.
Again, there's definitely go-to compressors. Like we all use 1176s, LA2s. They're like, just whack them on. They sound great. Things like that. I'm not afraid of stock plugins when I want to save some CPU and it's maybe not an element that's right up the front in the mix. Because not everything needs to be incredibly sparkly because of if everything is, nothing is.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
So I like making sure there's the main elements that are meant to shine are shining. So I'm mixing with that in mind as well.
Yeah, it's, man, that literally thought came back to me the other day and I've had it many, many times over the years of like, man, I should just use more stock plugins. It's something you forget so easy when you've got hundreds of plugins. Yeah. They're mostly very good at what they do.
Yes.
And simple, easy to use. They do the clean sound thing. You can get some that trash it up. Like, it's anyone that says you need specific plugins. I mean, only for certain use cases, but in general.
Like, so something actually, no, I would probably use this on most things, just like a little bit of Melodyne. Things like that. Or like, there's one that I used to use on every production, which would be like Microshift by Soundtoys. But lately I've been using other choruses because the UAD stuff has a great chorus. So like it depends on the sound and I've got both loaded up and I can just put something off into that send. If that one doesn't work, I go to the other send. So there's small things like that. Like, yes, you will at some point need to widen the backing vocals or so that will be on there. But the song might be an instrumental where you don't have it.
No, that's awesome, man. Well, talk us through, I love the social media stuff you've been doing. I reckon those little instrumental tracks are super cool, man. Like, tell us about that approach and is that just for fun? Is that, showcasing your thing? Talk us through it.
It's kind of for fun. It's kind of for showcasing. I started doing it because I was like, I should get back into film scoring and doing production music. But then it became, and I was going to write full tracks for these, but then I was like, oh no, but like 4 bars Instagram, everyone is on social media these days. So I decided to just start doing that. That's actually turned already. An artist has reached out and we're doing a 5-track EP just built from one of those songs.
Unreal.
So it's turning into like client acquisition.
Beautiful, perfect.
Which is kind of awesome. Like it was more for me though. And they're a bit of sound experiments. Like you'll see that I'm just like, I'm barely mixing them when I put them up.
They sound awesome. I love it.
I'm trying
I think that's the point though. Like,
yeah.
It's about finding sounds and vibes. Like, again, I'm using that word, but it really, it just jumps out to me when I watch it. I'm like, fuck, that's a vibe. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm going for. And I will admit, like I don't want to say copying. I'm borrowing very heavily from some other people who do it online because of it's a really good format and setup. They also stemmed from me realizing I hate talking on camera. Like I tried to do it for
Thanks for jumping on the podcast.
I know. I said that to my partner before I came in. I was like, I just hate talking to camera.
You're doing awesome, man.
But so I was like, okay, if I'm doing this full time, how do I promote myself without having to speak to camera? And I was like, I just like writing songs. I'm just going to write songs and like I'll give myself 2 hours a song. And if something cool comes out in 2 hours, sweet. So That's why they're not super frequent. They're like whenever I have like a pocket where a client hasn't booked, I'll put one up.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's great. And I think like it's a funny point. Like sometimes on socials, you'll see people like doing drum covers or, you know, whatever they're doing, productions like you. And then all of a sudden you'll hear them talk one day. You're like, wow, that's what they sound like.
Yeah. I think that happened to me. I put up a post about advice the other day.
Yeah.
And about how so much of it online isn't like specific to you. So it might not actually be good advice for you. It's probably good advice in general, but for you, it might not be. And I filmed a full video of me speaking and I was like, I can't do this. I don't want to, I didn't study music to talk to my phone.
Commit.
So it was just text on images. But yeah, it all of that is, I'm basically, sorry, I just knocked my mic.
All good.
All of that is me just trying to show what I do and who I am on socials.
Yeah, man. Love it. It's awesome. And talk us through then your, you know, people that haven't come through your, you know, your pipeline, I guess you would call it. What is your client acquisition process? And do you have a process and what does it look like?
So much of it's word of mouth these days. It's like less my students or things like that. Like I had someone reach out the other day who was like, I heard what you've done on this song. Can we do something together? And yeah, of course. I love work. So it's a lot is now word of mouth, or I'm still waiting for a fair few. No, actually, cut that. A lot of it's just word of mouth from friends and clients and past clients and people who know that I do music. I'm sure with everyone's friendship group, you know, they know that you do music. So if they hear anyone that needs you're automatically the person that they call out to.
Yeah, you get the random messages sometimes that's like an abstract thing that's somewhat related to music.
It's very, and you're like, I think I've got a guy for this, and you send them to the person.
Oh, dude, I used to work at Apple and I would always get the Apple questions. So like having music questions ain't so bad.
It's great. I actually love it. And so I guess speaking of, at the moment, you might have seen I'm trying to run these artist development courses. And it's not because of any of my work in particular has become successful, but it's more that I was able to make a creative career out of not being a famous musician. And it is possible. So I wanted to be like a wall for people to bounce off just ideas. It was when I was chatting to Claude the other day, being like, oh, blah, 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 blah. What about this? What do you think of this? And I was like, are we all asking the same thing, the same questions? And so I'm trying to like, at the moment, build these communities of people to help each other in that music world.
That's awesome. It's so important. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome, mate. Well, when it comes to like being in music full time and making a career, are there things that you feel differed from what your expectations were?
I guess when you're younger, this is going back like 15 years when you're in high school, even longer actually, but you think like in the music world, like your job is just like be the cool guy with the guitar. I really, really early on got given a book that taught me about like motivation and doing the work. You know that early 20s where you just read all these self-help books?
Mine's like now.
Oh, sick. No, you're in a good spot then. It's like, if you name it, I've probably read it. And like, so I was like, to do a full-time creative job, I just should turn up from 9 till 5, if not longer, because other people will turn up longer. So like there's a lot of grinding. I've done so much in the past, like unpaid, just get the stuff out because you want to do that thing. And that's when you're learning and you're cutting your teeth. So I learned, I guess, like you don't have to treat it like a 9 to 5, but you have to put in the hours. It doesn't matter when they are. It's just putting in that actual work to be a creative.
Yeah, that's huge. Anything that you look back on and feel like you wish you had done differently?
Not stayed stagnant. I'll reference what I referenced earlier, like horrible job and I was just like comfortable playing 2 original gigs a week, not getting paid for it. Whereas if I had just like gotten rid of that and was forced to actually do something, something good would have happened. For example, when that did happen, not only did I get into music teaching, all of a sudden every day I was on Gumtree writing film scoring or who needs music for that? Literally every day. That turned into, I wrote 72 children's songs in 3 weeks.
Wow.
For like a company based in Canberra, but sending them over into Asian countries to.
Sick.
Yeah. So like the hustle actually pays off sometimes. I know Gumtree is not where you would expect to go to get a songwriting job. But like I was probably 21. I had no idea where to look for music work, so I looked everywhere. Like,
absolutely.
Like I was genuinely no stone unturned. I was just like, okay, Gumtree, Craigslist, like absolutely everywhere.
Look, man, if it works, it works. Like you can't say that something doesn't work if it actually does. Like,
yeah,
it might be harder in some places than others. So, your efficiency level might be off, but if you still get the job, then it's,
Exactly. And you'll probably work longer hours than a normal job to start with. I would say. I don't know if you agree with that, but like you're trying to find your feet. You're trying to get work at the same time as completing work. Like that's something that I notice a lot now. I'll have a full 2 months of work, and then at the end of that 2 months, I'm like, okay, I've got to get work again. So I'm not sure if you find that as well.
Oh yeah, dude, it goes in waves. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, it's just like I know this month completely booked. Next month mostly booked. Month after that, I'll get booked, but we'll see.
Yep. And it always the thing that's going around on socials, I think, like it's just for some reason it's popping off is who was saying it's what's his name, Seth Rogen, who's like, if you don't quit, you'll never lose. Like,
yeah,
you just eventually get something else. So, and I agree. I think you just like, I think the grit factor is something that you have to have as an entrepreneur and self-employed creative. Like there's no way around it. And this is why we see such a high level of people giving up and quitting, is because they just don't have that ability to sit through the tough times and know exactly what you just said, that something's going to come around the corner if I just keep working.
Yeah. The other thing actually would be worth mentioning is like, for me, it was easy with guitar teaching being the second job. Because that was a second job, right? Like if it's a cafe while you're learning to mix, sweet. Or like it doesn't have to be full-time straight away. No. Like it's almost impossible. Like it would be so scary.
I would, unless you have a confirmed pay,
or
exactly, income, then I would highly avoid doing it that way.
Exactly.
And some people don't need to do that ever.
Yeah.
Like can always just be a part-time thing, which is cool too. There's no wrong way to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, so yeah, for me falling into that field it just made sense.
Yeah. Cool. What sort of stuff that you're seeing at the moment or working on or coming up, what sort of stuff do you find that still is really exciting or like surprising that you didn't expect, like that would, excite you?
What sort of stuff is surprising or exciting? For me, the exciting work is a song that's not quite complete. I love my genuinely favorite thing in this industry is when someone comes with a song which is like, hey, it's almost good or almost done, but what can we do to it? I love just like seeing where it goes. So that's the most exciting thing for me work-wise. In the industry, exciting-wise, there's exciting and scary things happening in the industry at the moment. But
preach.
I'll leave that one there. No. It's okay. So in the industry, it is exciting to see. I think we're seeing some really good Aussie music at the moment. I was really against things like TikTok and social media. I'm not a big, I don't love using the services. But I am really, really, really loving that pop music now isn't just top 40 pop. It can be anything. I love that there's like someone will go viral because they've probably put the work in and recorded the song well and like put the effort into making it go viral. But it could be like a bluegrass song.
Absolutely.
Do you remember that song? I can't remember the artist's name. It's like the nylon string guitar, really low tuned.
The redhead dude, was it?
I'm not sure if he's got red hair.
There's like an American dude.
Yeah, he's American.
And like standing in a field sort
of thing. That's him.
Yeah, that's that one. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like, that is crazy. Not something written for pop top 40 radio, but it went viral on TikTok and now people love it, right? I think it's a well-written song. It's great. And it's awesome to see music be able to be appreciated regardless of genre. Whereas you used to just get driven. I'm thinking back to when I listened to the radio, getting driven to school, and it's just like, oh, was Katy Perry on today?
I think the power is in the people's hands now. What they choose to view. Obviously, the algorithm feeds you what it thinks that you like, and it generally does quite well at that. So you kind of can get stuck in a bubble, but I do think that I agree with you. There's so much cool art.
There's cool art being
going
made.
off. Yeah,
100%. Especially when it's like people making that cool art we love.
Yes. It should only be people making. All right. Moving forward into the next couple of months, what you got coming up, man?
Next couple of months. So I've just finished off 2 singles for people. Just before this call, I got pulled onto a double-sided album. So that'll be this month, writing for that, which will be good fun. And then hopefully after that, the track I just finished today, hopefully there's another album from there. And
unreal. Just
more singles as well. It's a good time for me at the moment, which I'm loving.
Yeah, and your artist community stuff.
Exactly.
That sort of stuff too.
Yeah. So actually that kicked off yesterday and then it's continuing for the next 5 weeks. We're doing weekly meetups and then I'm just going to adjust that. If you want to join in on that, I am going to run them again. And I think I'm going to try to keep them free because that's what I needed when I was releasing music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. Absolutely. That's awesome stuff, man. I love to hear it. If you have listened to this before, you'll know I always ask the same question to finish off. Can you give us the best bits of quickfire advice, first of all, for producer engineer types, and then secondly, for artists that are in the early stages, first few years?
Cool. So as I mentioned my post earlier, I'm just some guy on the internet, right? I don't know you. So I can't give you like a piece of advice that would be specific for you. So so for anything, I think any advice you get online, just take with a grain of salt. Think about how it directly impacts you before you go, nah, he said I have to release 3 songs in 3 weeks. That's not true. There is going to be the right advice for you. So just think if that advice is correct for you or not before you take it on. And I know that's not relevant to production or artists. I just think it's a big thing with advice online.
No, I love it. The anti-advice advice. It's
exactly.
Awesome.
Advice.
Thinking outside the box. Very creative.
I've ruined your format. I'm so sorry. I've ruined it.
No one else listen to this and no one else do that again.
No, what I should say.
I'm joking.
There is something I should say with that though. There is so much good advice online. I think people should think about all the advice they get given rather than take it as gospel.
Yep. Love it. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been a lot of fun.
No stress. I've had a good time.
Thanks, dude. And thanks to everyone for checking this out online. Obviously, if you would like to support the podcast, you can do so by sharing it around, following us, staying up to date. If you want to buy some merch, you can buy some merch. You can
get the shirts. I don't have one on. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll send you one. And yeah, we'll see you next time on What's That Sound podcast. Thanks.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening to What's That Sound. Make sure you hit follow or subscribe on your podcast platform to stay up to date with each new episode. We'll catch you next time.